Today's gonna be a different type of video, but it's a list video. You guys love lists, what can I say? Today we're gonna be going over a list of everything I've invested into in recent memory. Obviously, this is not an exhaustive list as I've invested into so many things. I even have a team helping me invest, so I oftentimes am not fully aware even if I have exposure to an asset. As my time gets more and more restricted with so many people working on the projects I've created, I literally don't even have time always to click the buttons. But today I'm going to be putting together a list, some things you know, some things you don't know, effectively coins that I've bought into, and I'll explain to you why I bought into them. Now, several of these have not come out yet, and in the event that they're not out yet, understand that there's probably going to be that FOMO pump at the beginning of their launch. So if you're very interested in these, you want to let those FOMO pumps settle out, you want to buy dips, and most importantly, we've been on a pretty unobstructed bullish path for the last few months. So if you've missed a lot of these trains, it might behoove you to wait for a crash. You might be saying crash? What do you mean crash? Well, let's talk about that for a second. So I'm looking at the Axie Infinity chart right now, and as you can see, we get these like pretty crazy spikes up here in early April. This was as the market was kind of topping earlier in the year, and we saw Axie jump up here. You can see on a wick, it even jumps up to about 12 bucks here. You can see it almost jumps up to 12 bucks right here. The reality is that we see just a few days later, it hits as low as $3, right? So you're looking at pretty much like a 75% discount on Axie Infinity, and this was timed perfectly with the Bitcoin dump. Obviously, what we know for a fact is that Axie Infinity has gone on to do, pretty much like a 70x from here. You can see that it came out of these troughs and it just went onwards and upwards towards infinity. So much so that you can't even really tell what's going on down here. However, after the market's been bullish for a very long time, as we've seen here, pretty much nonstop bullishness in gaming, there's usually a little bit of a cool off. Now, whether this happens this month, next month, in January, in February, I don't know. We're in uncharted territory. We're experiencing a brand new historic bull run. However, even during these historic bull runs, there's usually resets. There's usually reaccumulation periods. And so the fact that that could come sooner or later is not a question of if, it's a question of when. So if you missed a lot of these trains, it might be worth considering the two following pieces of data. One, there will be a correction. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And two, all of this is small potatoes compared to where crypto gaming is going to be in a few years from now. No one could have imagined Axie Infinity as a $40 billion project, but here we are. And people will be unable to imagine the multi-trillion-dollar gaming ecosystems of the future. So understand that when we're trying to bring you opportunities like Sandbox at a few cents, Sandbox again delivering unlimited gains to its holders, this is going to be one of those situations where there are huge rocky moments and nuclear freezes followed by wild periods of bullishness. You want to buy the fear and buy the blood, and then you want to take profits as things get ultra bullish. Now, if you guys like me giving you these strategic and philosophical narrative-based strategies to approach the market, destroy that like button, because we put the viewers of this channel ahead of literally every major trend, giving you guys all the DeFi gems throughout late 2020, helping you guys get into the biggest and most important NFTs, hundreds of X's throughout the summer, and then the gaming wave that we've been predicting and helping you navigate now all throughout the fall. Over and over again, we're getting you ahead, helping you look around corners. And if that's of value to you, make sure you like and of course subscribe with that bell notification on. Now, jumping in here, of course, we have UFO. This one is up now, I think 47x. It was as high as like 53x when we started covering it. I went in pretty heavily into UFO. This one is great. I've taken a very small amount of profit so far. UFO is awesome. I still think it could grow from here. It's got that perfect balance of meminess and metaverse. You just gotta love it. And their fair launch is showing that it is the ultimate pumptastic tokenomics. So shout out to everyone who got into UFO, and super cool for them to have a fully diluted market cap that's exactly the same as their circulating market cap. You've got to love it. Again, when you're up this much, it's normal to take a little bit of profits. That's why you're seeing a little bit of this peak coming down. But as you can see, the chart over the last sort of 14 days has just been, pretty steady and gradual and bullish as heck. So shout out to the UFO truth seekers out there in the audience. We love you. Now, next, of course, is MonkeyBall. This thing is in IDO mode. I think it's going to do really well. I actually haven't checked out if the token has launched or not, but it's in this launch mode. again, wherever this goes, give it some time to settle. And then if you really want to be a part of this project, you're going to want to buy those dips, wait for it to come down off the highs, because this one is super, super hyped. Again, I love soccer. I love FIFA Street. I grew up playing that game and having a play to earn version of that with some really cool 3D characters. I'm totally sold. They also have Playtika, which is a well-known mobile game developer behind this. So it's going to have hopefully that real simple, effective, casual game feel. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's both that monkeys and soccer are universally loved by crypto holders. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see this one do really well. Again, to be clear, I'm a pre-sale investor in this one. Next, we have the Syndicate, Sin.City. This one is absolutely insane. You can see the investors here: Do Kwon from Terra, Kane from Synthetics. You have Justin Can from Twitch. You have a bunch of cool VCs: Alex, myself, KSI, Animoca, Kieran Warwick from Alluvium. It just goes on and on and on. What I wish you could see here is the graphics, because it's actually ridiculously sick. They really haven't showed anything visual, but the visuals are the strongest aspect of this. It's got like a really cool kind of GTA, but immersive, high quality graphics feel to it. I would say that this is one of the most AAA games I've seen. It's also a card auto battler, so it really fits well with NFTs. Again, I'm a pre-sale investor here. I know a lot of people join their Discord, but make sure that you're following this one. It's one that I think has true mainstream gaming potential written on it. Again, it's impossible to predict which one of these games will go mainstream, but you can just put on your gamer hat and say, does it look like I want to play this? And this one, once you guys see it, I think you'll understand why I do want to play it and why I invested. Next, we have MetaWars. Now, I didn't actually invest in MetaWars, but they have another game that's like a pixel Diablo coming out, and this one is called MetaGods. They also did really well on MetaWars, so this team, the group behind it, knows what they're doing with launching it. MetaWars, I believe, was listed on FTX at launch, and so they know how to like network and promote these projects. Again, the MetaGods one is not as visually stunning as MetaWars, but the team seems even more excited about it from a gameplay perspective, and so I'm finalizing my investment right now into MetaGods, not MetaWars here. So for those who just skim the video, you'll miss this detail, but this is another one that I'm investing into, not quite sure the timing. Next, we have Vulcan Forged. Again, they have a whole group of games here, as well as an immersive metaverse experience. This is a very, very cool project. In the end, having multiple titles is always going to be an advantage, and they also are releasing their Vulcanverse, their immersive metaverse. Again, these are strong early movers and have the chance to grow their economy and iterate. So that's what I like, is seeing that they have a range of games that they're developing. They clearly have a big team. They clearly know how to ship gameplay, and those are all big positives. Spreading out my bets here, and again, betting on people who have proven that they can ship and get things over the line. Speaking of shipping, we have Gala Games. Now, we've talked about them a few times here. They have like 5 games going on. Now, if you remember, I did an episode with Jason Bitbender from Gala Games a few months ago before they went on their epic run, and if you got into Gala then, you'd be up something like 20 or 30x. So shout out to all my Gala gangsters over here who got in, who might be playing Spider Tanks, who might be excited for their RPG, Mirandis. Again, you can see a lot of very interesting things going on here. They have Fortified, which is their tower defense. They have their sort of space game, which is Echoes of Empire. And then they have Townstar, which is like a simulation game. Very, very cool stuff here. They have like all the different genres: a MOBA, an RPG, a tower defense, a strategy game, and a simulation. Who knows? Maybe one of them will be the next World of Warcraft. That's what people are excited about here, and that's why you gotta love these studio plays like Vulcan Forged and Gala Games. They're very exciting. Now, switching games a little bit, we actually have Opulus. Opulus is a project that focuses on music royalties through NFTs. It's built on Algorand. The token is trading on Ethereum. This one's been pumping like crazy, so it's pretty high. I ended up giving away like $2,000 worth of Opulus on Twitter giveaways. So if you missed that one, just pay attention here. What I'm really excited about for this one is that this is a chance that you could actually buy into artists and hopefully get some like low cap gem artists. Like, what if you got Drake's first NFT when he's just doing his mixtape, and then he becomes, you know, Champagne Poppy, and you get to ride along with that growth of his career. That's what you would hope for with essentially creator backed NFTs with real music copyrights. This is by a real music streaming copyright company called Ditto Music. So what I love about this is it's a real company with real history, industry of paying out artists through publishing, and they finally launched their own Opulus token. Now, very similarly, we have Royal, which is by Blau. This one is backed by Paradigm and A16Z, I believe. Just amazing, amazing investors. Similar concept here. I was able to invest in the equity stage. This one's a long ways off, but again, I couldn't be more excited for real ownership of copyrights being distributed direct to consumer, direct to the decentralized web. The model of the music industry will get completely disrupted by this. And what's not to love about changing an entire dinosaur industry and bringing them into Web3 hook, line, and sinker, starting with the artists. Finally, we also have BigTime.gg. Big Time is created by the co-founder of Mana Decentraland. Really, really cool project here. The game is built in Unreal Engine, looks very high quality. They've been building it since before it was cool, as they told me. And so this one is a land sale that they're doing, and I'm very excited for it. So this is going to be a very, very interesting play, very, very game first, game centric, and you gotta love to see that. Of course, they've got a proven founder behind it, and so that's why I am getting into the land sale here for Big Time. Obviously, Sandbox, I'm a huge, huge fan of. I've been pushing Sandbox pretty aggressively onto the community now since for the better part of 2021, but also I've been following this project for years and years now. Of course, there's a huge partnership between Superfarm and Sandbox, where Superfarm now owns one of the biggest plots of land in Sandbox and will be creating all kinds of game modes and different challenges and community initiatives inside Sandbox. So there's so much to love here. Of course, we've all been seeing Sandbox top the charts, but it's really important that you understand why I supported this project and why something like Sandbox could grow to be a truly centerpiece type project in the metaverse. And it should be no surprise here to see Sandbox absolutely crushing the volume here on OpenSea with 14,000 ETH. That's like, what, $60 million here just in the last 7 days of trading. Amazing. Now, I wanted to cover this one. This is one that I've been very excited about, which is called D-Travel. D-Travel is a DAO that's looking to take on Airbnb and actually have the hosts, the owners of the properties, be a DAO. This is a really cool project, and what's crazier is they already have something like 500,000 bookings that you can actually book right now. So if I jump in here, I can actually start booking travel right now through the D-Travel site. Literally, it's a fully built product here. So you gotta love when something is fully built. Look, I can go to Santorini, Corfu, Florence, Malaysia, you name it, London, Bologna, Porto. It's just everything you could imagine is already there. So this is a very, very serious team here, and they've already built a robust product. You've got to love it. And that's why I'm extremely excited for D-Travel. And I think that Airbnb is a super exciting thing to look at disrupting by removing that middleman and giving more control to the hosts, which are the most important ingredient. The hosts are what make Airbnb. Finally, Moonbeam, of course, this is one of the biggest, earliest movers in Polkadot. I'm super excited for it. They were almost number one in winning the first parachain slot, but that actually went to Akala. Akala is the next slide here. I was lucky enough to get exposure to both of these through the crowd loan process, and I really, really am excited for these, as these have the chance to be those tip of the spear protocols for the Polkadot ecosystem. They're kind of brother and sister right now. Who is to say which one will be the ultimate winner? But I'm super excited for both of these projects, and they're both going to be doing huge, huge things in the near future. Obviously, you guys know how passionate I am about Immutable X. They've just been crushing it with all kinds of brand partnerships. Again, I invested in the seed round for this. My coins are locked for like 2 years from now. So I sincerely hope that this one continues to grow and prosper in the way that it has. Again, the biggest thing you should be doing with Immutable X is actually using the protocol, because you can get rewarded with Immutable X for doing so. And there's no better way to do that than participating in Superfarm's upcoming Immutable X drops. Namely, the first one is going to happen on Monday morning. With the High Rise app, you're not going to want to miss this one. It's going to be one of the easiest, in my opinion, blue chip drops to be a part of. For those not on the whitelist, in my opinion, people will be lazy. They will forget to bridge. They will not take the steps necessary to secure their opportunity. So when that whitelist drops after 3 hours, I think that's going to be one of the biggest opportunities for those who didn't whitelist, who didn't get on, but want to scoop up, in my opinion, a huge opportunity in the market. Finally, we have the ZK-rollup stuff. I'm not in Starknet. Obviously, I have some exposure through Immutable X to the Starknet ecosystem, but this one is going to be an absolute monster. And of course, we have ZK Sync as well. Both of these are part of the ZK rollup narrative that we talked about yesterday. Oh, and I forgot to say Thetan Arena. I always forget Thetan Arena, but I love Thetan Arena. This one looks absolutely ridiculously good, and I'm going to be doing my best to get involved with it before launch. So there you have it, a huge list of projects that I've invested into. Again, you need to figure out for yourself whether any of these make sense for you. I have no idea how they're going to perform. I invested in them based on fundamentals that I had deemed were good enough to take the plunge, to lock up my funds, and to hope that these projects deliver. Again, I hope this helps you understand how I'm seeing the market. I'm looking for scalability. I'm looking for new projects in the Polkadot ecosystem, and I'm looking for games and metaverse projects, as those to me represent the next evolution of this industry. Again, the biggest contribution that I have coming to this space beyond the content here, and of course, all of the amazing messages that show me how much money this audience is making following the content, well, my biggest contributions to this space are fast arriving, and you'll be seeing some of the awesome tech that I've helped create within the coming days and weeks. Pretty much everything I've worked for the last 4 years is about to come out, and you're about to see the foundation, the petri dish that I will grow the next 10, 20, 30 years of my life's work from. So I'm super excited to show this to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, I'm Elio Trades. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on so you don't miss huge alpha leaks like this one, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.